Today we are going to analyze the lifts of Devon, Alexei Vovoda, Monster Michael Todd, Levan Saginashvili, Ryan Bowen and others. Yet another lift made popular by Devon. We are talking about the pronation lift. When Devon wanted to assess how strong Hermes Gasparini really is, he asked his numbers only in this one particular lift. He had no interest in Hermes Gasparini's 92 kilo back pressure or any other lift for that matter. That's how important Devon feels this lift is. So we will take into considerations about 5 points before analyzing this lift. Number 1, the positioning of arm. Is it parallel to the ground or not? Number 2, the positioning of the hand. Do we have some cupping going on? Do we see some riser engagement before the lift is actually achieved? And the third point is the strap positioning. There are clearly 2 points of contact in this style of lift, and the lower point of contact of the strap, which is near to your forearm, it has to be as far away as it can be from your forearm, so near to your wrist. If that is achieved, then the lift is okay. Then number 4, we have body movement. Are we shaking too much? Are we standing up trying to achieve the lift? And number 5 is arm length. The farther away the weight is from your elbow, the more difficult it is to lift. So guys like Devon who have exceptionally long forearms, even if they lift equal amount of weights as the shorter forearm guys are doing, still Devon is going to achieve way more pronation on the table because it is going to come from a different height. So let's first take a look at Ryan Bowen's lift. This is the 60 kilo lift that Ryan is attempting. He got the 55 kilo lift, but let's analyze this one. So the forearm is about parallel to the ground, and if you're not able to lift a weight, then your forearm is automatically going to be parallel to the ground. It is going to stretch downwards. So we need to analyze the lifts that were actually good lifts, or where the weight at least lifted from the ground. Otherwise the forearm is always going to be parallel. We can see that Ryan has a little bit of cupping going on, and the belt positioning is also not so great. The lower part of the strap is towards his forearm. So people are saying that this lift is not okay. Clearly it is a different lift from what Devon did. But I would say that Ryan should get 50 kilos or slightly more on this lift, even if it is done extremely strictly. Let's talk about Devon lift, because whatever Devon is going to do is going to be the benchmark for this lift. Devon initiated this lift. He may not have created it, but he made it popular. So the standards of strictness that Devon is going to show are going to be the standards that everyone should be expected to achieve, and nothing more than that. So Devon's forearm is about parallel and the strap positioning is okay. Zero cupping going on. Devon is shaking, which shows that it took a lot out of him. That's a 151 pound lift, about 68 kilos I guess. Really impressive. I don't think this lift has been beaten yet. The ideal situation would be where the elbow doesn't even touch the inner part of the thigh, but that would make it more difficult I guess. So we will stick by this standard what Devon has shown us. Let's talk about Monster Michael Todd's lift. Michael Todd lifted about 128 pounds, which is good considering that he's coming off of a bicep surgery. And his elbow positioning was slightly different to Devon's, but the forearm was exactly parallel and the strap positioning was okay. He didn't cheat at all. So 128 pounds legit lift. Maybe the monster can get to 150 pounds when he's back in top shape. Sandres Sedis lifted 42 kilos and then he went straight to 62 kilos. As I said, this is one lift where the forearm and the form is going to look perfect even if you don't get a lift. Usually when we don't get lifts, it looks like a big cheat, but not in this exercise. The forearm is always going to be parallel, so we cannot analyze much from this failed lift. Now let's talk about Alexei Vovoda's lift. Vovoda made a response video to Devon's 68 kilo lift and he did 70 kilos. Is the form same? Well, absolutely not. Vovoda's forearm was not parallel. He had a lot of cupping going on and he also lifted his hips while trying to achieve that lift. And if we talk about an extreme version of this lift where it is not strict, where you stand up, in that lift Vovoda did 107 kilos, which is simply insane. It is something similar to what Levan Saginashvili did. Obviously Levan's grip was different. Instead of using a loop through the thumb, he was simply grabbing onto that towel kind of thing and lifting it straight up. which is kind of a difficult setup to be honest, but his forearm was exactly almost vertical, which kind of negates the point of the lift. But seeing that Vovoda can lift almost similar weights, even more with a slightly different setup, is simply insane. I wouldn't be surprised if Vovoda is able to do more than Devon even in a strict form. I'll be surprised if there is any lift other than this one where Devon can outlift Alexei Vovoda. I mean, the guy simply does insane lifts. Cheating bicep curls with almost 130 plus kilos. He's really strong. And similar to Levan's lift, we saw RVJ's lift that was done in a more strict manner with a parallel forearm with a band. He did about 120 pounds. I think if he tries this lift, he's one man who can achieve that 150 pound range because Rob is really strong. I tried it myself. I was able to get about 75-80 pounds. So if you're not so strong, if you're not so weak, you can expect some numbers between 70 to 90 pounds in my opinion. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe.